Hello and welcome to Story Meadow, stories for car journeys, bedtime and any other quiet time. My name's Marion and I'll be sharing the story with you today. Before we start, I'd love to share about our Halloween special holiday camp, which is taking place in the October half term on Wednesday, 29th of October from 9 o'clock to 4 p.m. Our spooky story is going to be brought to life with the children's own ideas, with their own creativity, with treasure hunts, spotting some spooky little bats and creatures in our woods, with potion making so the children can have a go at experimenting with their own special finds and bubbles. We're going to be making lanterns and other arts and crafts, den building, bubble parties, mindfulness activities. The day is jam-packed full of really fun activities, all set outside. Our holiday camps are so popular and children are absolutely loving them. So I'd love for your child to have a go at coming along. It's a really great way to make new friends, be outside in nature, to feel a deep connection to our story, to our surroundings, and to bring a story to life in such a playful and creative way, because children get to add their own ideas and to take the story on unexpected turns as it comes to life. And it is just so special. It's so much more than a holiday camp, because children actually come back on days that they don't even need holiday camp or daycare. They just come because they enjoy the sessions and have so much fun. So to book your child on for our Halloween special, please head to the website storymeadow.co.uk. Okay, enough chatting. Let's get all cozy so we can relax into the story. Let's take a first big breath in through your nose and slowly back out through your mouth. Lovely. I think it's time to start our story. Are you ready? Little Hedgehog gets stuck. Now, this is a bit of a strange story because Billy Bunny was actually feeling quite sleepy, and he was curled up in bed and not waking up as early as usual. But his friend Little Hedgehog had been very excited to play with Billy Bunny, and he had hurried along to the adventure playground as early as he could. But when Little Hedgehog got to the playground, Billy Bunny wasn't there. Little Hedgehog searched in the treehouse. He went through the tunnels. He went up and down the seesaw and through the slide, and there was no sign of Billy anywhere. Little Hedgehog thought, maybe I can hide from Billy, and then when he comes, I can jump out and say boo. So he hid behind a bush, and he waited, and he waited. Oh, and he waited such a long time, and it was getting a little bit boring. And Little Hedgehog looked around at his feet for something to do when he spotted a really lovely round conker, a shiny one that had just come out of his prickly shell, a bit prickly like Little Hedgehog actually. So Little Hedgehog scooped it up. He took off the prickly shell and took a good look at the big round conker, and he started to throw it from one paw to another, and then he threw it at the tree and it bounced off the tree and it went flying onto the seesaw. Bing! Oh, that gave Little Hedgehog a good idea. He put the conker at one end of the seesaw and then he jumped onto the other end. Bing! And the conker went boom, boom on different trees and flying through the air. And that made Little Hedgehog giggle. So he picked up his little conker again and he tried it again on the seesaw. Bing! Even higher. This time the conker went soaring up into the trees and it landed right on the top of the treehouse. Oh, said Little Hedgehog, and he ran up the treehouse ladder to fetch it. And actually, when he got to the top, he thought instead of climbing back down the ladder, maybe he would go down the slide. And actually, maybe he would roll the conker down first. So Little Hedgehog threw the conker down the slide. It went whizzing round and round, and Little Hedgehog followed closely behind it. This little conker was actually so much fun, and Little Hedgehog had forgotten all about hiding from Billy Bunny. He played with the conker, throwing it this way, throwing it that way, giggling all to himself, until he gave the conker a huge kick, and the conker went pyong onto a tree, pyong onto a mushroom, bounced into the air, and whooshed into a hole at the bottom of a tree. It was a hole a little bit like a burrow, but quite a small burrow. And Little Hedgehog ran over to fetch his conker, but he saw that the hole was very small and very dark, and he wasn't sure if he could even fit. So Little Hedgehog put his nose in. He wriggled inside, and it was a very tight fit. He wriggled a little more, and his bristles were getting stuck all on the outside. He wriggled, and he spotted his conker right at the bottom of the hole. Oh! He wriggled in, closer and closer, one step at a time, in the squishy tunnel, until he reached his shiny conker. Yes, got it! But oh dear. Little Hedgehog tried to move backwards, back out of the tunnel. But his bristles, that were all touching the outside of the tunnel, were getting stuck. And when he tried to move backwards, they were getting stuck more. Oh no! Oh dear, said Little Hedgehog. Oh, I can't get out. I'm stuck. Oh, I need someone to help me. Help! Now, do you remember that Billy Bunny was not in the park? And he wasn't going for a walk. In fact, he was still fast asleep in his bed. And it was really late in the morning. Well, Mummy Bunny went and she woke up Billy. She said, "Come on now, up you get. I know you're having a nice sleep, but weren't you meeting Little Hedgehog? You can't leave him waiting forever." "Oh," said Little Bunny. Billy Bunny had a big stretch. He wriggled his nose, and he remembered he was going to play with Little Hedgehog. He hopped out of bed. He ran out the door with putting his coat on and his boots. "Bye, Mummy." And he hopped over to the adventure playground. But when he got there, he couldn't see Little Hedgehog anywhere. Do you remember where he is? Billy Bunny looked all around the adventure playground. He looked in the treehouse. He looked in the tunnels. He looked on the seesaw and in the bushes, and there was no sign of Little Hedgehog anywhere. But then he heard a sound. "Help! Help!" Now, Billy Bunny has really big ears, like all rabbits do, and they are very sensitive. He can hear very, very well. So he put his ears up where they would listen the best, and he listened for the direction of the sound. "Help! Help!" And he followed the sound this way, that way, around the seesaw, over the stepping stones, and he got to the bottom of a big tree. And at the bottom of the big tree, he could see a little hole, a little burrow. And just on the edge of that burrow, he could see a little hedgehog bottom. He giggled and said, "Little Hedgehog, is that you in there? What are you doing in that burrow?" And Little Hedgehog said, "Oh, thank goodness you're here, Billy. Well, I need help. I'm stuck. I can't get out." "Oh dear," said Billy. He laughed a little bit, but he knew he needed to help his friend. He held on to his two little back paws, and he said, "Little Hedgehog, I'm going to pull you on 3. Are you ready?" "I'm ready," said Little Hedgehog. And Little Hedgehog, inside the burrow, held on very tightly to his conker because he wanted to take it back out with him. Billy Bunny started to count. He said 1, 2, 3, and he pulled Little Hedgehog out as hard as he could, and they both came tumbling out of the tunnel, roly-polying into a big pile of leaves and giggling. And Little Hedgehog, who had been holding on really tightly to his conker, had let his paws slip as he had tumbled out, and the conker had gone up up high into the air. It had pinged on a branch, pinged on the tree, pinged on a mushroom, and went soaring into the air and landed on Billy's head. "Ouch!" said Billy. "Oh, sorry," said Little Hedgehog. "Oh, Billy, are you all right? It's my conker. Look how good and shiny it is." "Oh," said Billy, "that's a good conker." And Little Hedgehog said, "Yes, and that's not all. Watch all the games we can play with this conker." And he showed Billy. He showed Billy how to ping it off of the seesaw. He showed Billy he could take it up to the treehouse and roll it down the slide. And he showed Billy how he loved to throw it in the air. And Billy joined in all of the fun games, and they played with the conker together, and in fact, they found even more conkers so that they could roll lots and lots down the slide at the same time, like it was a roller coaster. And they pinged lots into the air and threw them to each other, and Billy tried to learn to juggle, and they had so much fun with their conkers. The end. I wonder if you've spotted some really beautiful conkers this season. At the moment, there are lots and lots of conkers to find, and they are in some really beautiful shells that are spiky on the outside, just like a hedgehog. But if you crack the shell open, inside you'll find a nice shiny conker. To crack it open, you could use your foot instead of your hands, because then the spikes won't hurt you and you can find your shiny conker inside. I wonder if you'll find some. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Story